Good morning, Danny Dumaresque. You're on the air.
Good morning, Patty. How are you?
Very well, my friend. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing great, thank you very much. I was calling this morning because as I'm going through all the thousands of pages of documentation for the posing of request for information to Hydro concerning the PUB investigation, I have come across one item that's not so much associated with the blackouts and the reliability of the future, but one that certainly when I was in politics before, people were in the streets about, and that is the privatization of Hydro. And as I went through the documentation, I found, I knew certainly, as you do also, that when Premier Williams announced this deal nearly 3.5 years ago, he announced that part of the deal would be that Emera would get to own 29% of the Labrador transmission line, the 1,100 kilometers from Muskrat Falls to Soldiers Pond. But I noticed that quietly there was a change on February 13th of last year, that percentage was changed from 29% to 35%. And, certainly at this stage in the game, I'm questioning why. And I think everybody in the province should question why. Because certainly if there was any doubt about us not having the money to do this nearly 3-4 years ago, certainly with the federal loan guarantee, there is no question about us having the money to be able to build it. And, of course, the other thing is now apparent is that we are going to stand to 100% of the cost overruns on this particular line. So Emera is coming in here and going to take out millions and millions of dollars every year that are going to go into the pockets of its shareholders rather than have it stay here in the province. And
but, sir, isn't all the transmission privatized anyway?
Absolutely not. No.
So what do people own what pieces of transmission?
Well, I mean, Newfoundland Hydro certainly owns quite a bit of transmission in the province. I don't know the exact breakdown of it all, but certainly Hydro does own a fair bit of transmission. And right now, Hydro Nalcor will own $3 billion worth coming from Muskrat Falls to Soldiers Pond, and another $600 million worth from Muskrat Falls to Churchill Falls. And of course, this is a tremendous valuable asset, because whoever gets to own this asset will be able to take an application to the PUB and get a guaranteed rate of return on it.
Yeah. And
there's nothing philosophically wrong about it. If you believe that the private sector and the private companies should own this facility, should own Hydro, if that's your belief, certainly I have no issues with it. There's nothing criminal about it. But certainly if you look back over the years, the people of the province and the Premier of this province now on several occasions has gotten up in the House of Assembly and elsewhere and said that he's so proud of Muskrat Falls because it's going to be 100% Newfoundland owned by the people, returning 100% of the revenue that will accrue from all aspects of the project back into the pockets of the people of this province. And obviously nothing further could be from the truth.
My biggest problem with that arrangement is the burden of the overruns. And the ownership piece, I get your point, and you're right. When you own the transmission, then you can indeed have an extra avenue for revenue and then not be so dependent on it like we see sometimes when the applications go to the PUB. It's the overrun possibilities and our shouldering some of that burden. That's my biggest problem with it.
Well, I appreciate that, and but I mean it doesn't get around the fact that for the next 50 years after commissioning, for 50 years, year over year, ratepayers are going to see increases in their light bill, and at least 2% a year, year over year, for 50 years. And certainly millions of dollars that are going to be taken out by Emera because they will own $1 billion worth of this asset. is substantial. It is not. It's just not peanuts anymore. And certainly, I believe the people should take a good hard look at it. And I hope that the Liberal Party certainly will take a step to cancel this deal, because it's certainly not necessary.
Well, I'd be surprised if they do, and I think you will as well. Let me just talk about the ownership piece again, because it is interesting and it is important. So, how much of the transmission on the island or in the province, period, is owned by Newfoundland Power? I mean, are we talking 75, 80, 90%? Because, I mean, Hydro's transmission lines are few and far between, aren't they? Or if I'm misunderstanding the situation, please set me straight, because that's what's important.
Well, that is one question that I can't answer definitively, and so rather than give you a figure, I won't tell you at all. I just outlined that, that certainly Hydro will own more than $4 billion worth of transmission, and in this case, Emera now will own over $1 billion worth of these assets. And another aspect that also people don't realize, for 35 years, and maybe 50 years, I believe it could even be 50, that all of the transmission from Granite Canal connecting up to the Maritime Link, there's I don't know, I think it's 300 kilometers in total, and a great portion of that Emera is going to own 100%. So, we are not talking, as I said, pennies here. We're talking hundreds of millions and over $1 billion worth of transmission assets, which they will take to our own PUB and ask our ratepayers to cough up the money to pay these private investors that certainly have zero risk and are getting a sweetheart deal, in my opinion, at a time when we certainly can't afford it. And we're going to be seeing light bills go up and up every year, year over year, while we're still seeing millions of dollars of precious ratepayers' money being taken from their pockets and put over into the shareholders of Emera that we cannot see. And that, to me, is wrong, and certainly I will continue to advocate that it be changed.
Yeah, well, and listen, I'm going to try and find out about the percentage of ownership of all the transmission province-wide to help lend itself to the conversation. Appreciate your time this morning, Danny.
Yes, certainly. I will try and find that figure for you, too, and we'll get a clear picture. But well over $4 billion worth of these assets are in the hands of Hydro. And
we're not talking about pocket change. This is a serious matter, and that's why I'm going to try and find out as well. I appreciate you bringing it up this morning. Stay in touch.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Same to you, Danny.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.